Et Guillaume, peut-être que tu peux aller de ton côté sur live Facebook, voir s'il y a des comments. Bon, comme ça, on peut connecter, on peut regarder.
Tu veux que j'aille quoi?
Sur Facebook, live.
En même
Attends, tu
temps?
sais quoi, j'ai mon téléphone. Je pourrais checker depuis mon téléphone ce qui va se passer. Bonjour à tout le monde, hein. Je pense qu'on est vraiment en live là déjà.
Bonjour.
5h02. 502, guys. On est live depuis 18 secondes. For the last 18 seconds, Guillaume, we are live.
Great, just for that.
So, everybody, thank you for being on the l'apéro o'clock. Today, we are very happy to have Guillaume. I don't know if you go by the surname of Guillaume, but we call you Guillaume.
I used to go by Gigi with my family and, you know, my friend, but people call me G here because it's complicated to say Guillaume.
Oh, I like it. G. Ah, sounds good, man.
Make it easy.
So, Guillaume, thank you for being with us today. Really appreciate it. For people who don't know you, if you don't mind, what I like to do is when we start l'apéro o'clock, you know, where we have people from the food and wine industry, is that I like to give a quick idea of who you are, because some people may not know you and they will know more about you as we're going through this l'apéro. But do you mind if I take 2 minutes to just introduce yourself briefly to everybody?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
And you tell me after if I'm wrong, if I say something that is not correct, but I got my source about you and it looks pretty good.
Other people are with me, so be careful.
Are you part of the French connection?
Of course.
Okay, so Guillaume, thank you for your time again. We're very happy to have you here at l'apéro o'clock. Guillaume, you are from Marseille, and people are going to be able to hear that beautiful accent as you talk. And you are a certified sommelier. And as I was on my note, I put on my note something very important. I'm here to have you certified to the whole group that to drink 1 glass of wine per day is the very bare minimum, and that it's very healthy. So we will have to talk about that, but you need to reassure everybody that it's great to drink wine and bubblies as well. You are an expert in wine. You studied your career in France back in 1994, and then you moved to the US. You moved to Los Angeles, to LA, in 2001. You have a very interesting experience in wine because you did you started in planting and bottling wine. So the very first steps, you did that for 6 years in France, and then you moved to the sales side of the wine industry when you came to the US in LA. You were a wine director for a wine bar in LA for 5 years, and then you moved into a regional sales manager for covering 10 different states for 6 years. And now you are managing Hawaii and California, sorry. And you are a VP for Vineyard brands, and you're managing over 80 suppliers. So that's just for people to know that, you know, you're the real deal. You're no joke, Guillaume. And we are very happy and proud to have you. And I'm going to have a lot of questions for you. Did I introduce yourself correctly?
You did very well.
Thank you.
You did very well. Thank you for having me, Pierre. Pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. So, could you just tell us briefly where you work currently? Who is the company you're working for? What do they do? And what do they do well? Do you mind just telling us about that?
Sure. So I work for Vineyard Brands, which is a national importer. Yeah, cheers. Let's start to cheers. About time. Cheers.
Sante.
So I work for Vineyard Brands with a national importer, which is like almost like starting in the 70s, early 70s, 71. the owner, Robert Haas, was a founder of the company. He actually was working for Sherry Lehman in New York, very famous store, and he was doing import for them. So since the 50s. So he had connections for a very long time, since the 50s, with a lot of growers we import from France mostly. I mean, it's not just France, but he started a lot by importing from France. But we import now wine from all around the world. So, you know, all Europe and South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. So yeah, so it's a great company. It's a family company. We have very high quality producer that we import, and we are national, which is great. A lot of importer you will find, for example, in California, sometimes they just import for the state of California, or some people are based on the East Coast and import only for one or two states. But we cover the whole country.
And it's not international, right? It's US. And when you say it's only...
No, it's a US company, yeah. It's a US company, but we import international wines. Yeah.
Got it. But you don't sell overseas. You just sell within the US.
No.
Do you sell in Canada?
No, we don't.
You don't. Okay. There is enough business to cover in the US, right?
Yes. I mean, United States is pretty big, and you know, we keep us busy with the number of producers we have, you know. So yeah.
So how did you get involved into the wine business? How is it a family story, or is it because of the region you're born, or what made you involved in the wine industry? I mean, since 1994. I mean, that's you know, you have quite an experience. How did it come around?
Well, like you said, I was born in Marseille, but I moved to Avignon when I was 7 or 8 years old. So Avignon, you know, in the middle of the Rhone Valley, surrounded by vineyard all around, you know, Chateau Miraval and all those Gigondas area. So definitely, you know, I was in a wine country, living in a wine country. My parents were big fan of wines. Of course, drink some Rhone Valley wine, but they were a big fan of Burgundies too, and Champagne. So, you know, I was like most of French people, you're raised with drinking wine, with dinner and lunch and at the house, and, you know, you start very early, and, you know, it's something I always appreciate. But yeah, after high school, I started biology and chemistry study in university, but it was kind of boring to me. And one day I ran into ad for oenology and viticulture school, which was an alternance, as we call it in France. So you go to school 2 weeks and you work for a winery for 2 weeks. So I thought that, you know, that would be something fun since I like wines. So I started the program, and, you know, I worked. It was a 2 years program, and I worked and studied about viticulture and oenology. So it was great. You know, you learn from planting the vines to, you know, making sure, you know, they grow correctly, pruning, harvest, making the wine, and drinking it, tasting it.
Tough life.
Yeah. So that's how it started for my wine experience.
Got it. So for how long was this university for total?
It was 2 years. Then after I did another program for like 2-year master, which integrated a négociant in Gigondas, and they hired me after that for a couple of years.
Got it. Hey, we got a question coming from our dear friend. You saw that, right? From Germain?
No, I didn't see the question.
Yeah, from Amélie Wine Bar.
Oh, hi, Germain.
So Germain was asking, he was just saying, you're born in Marseille. Are you an OM fan?
Oh, what is OM?
I don't know, actually. We should ask him probably.
No, well, we had the discussion before, and with Germain, we joke around all the time, but I'm the black sheep of Marseille. I'm actually supporting, not recently, it's been since 1982, the rival team, which is Paris Saint-Germain.
And could you tell us, I mean, you know, French people will know, but do PSG and OM are really the two teams in France that really do not tend to like each other too much, right?
No.
So yeah, and it's fairly unusual to find someone from Paris who is a supporter of l'OM, Olympique de Marseille, and vice versa, right? So you're one of a kind, Guillaume. What can you tell, right?
Yeah.
Makes you special.
I guess, yeah.
So tell me, when you did your study, did you really feel engaged right away? You said, dude, this is going to be awesome. I love that stuff. I want to learn more. This is going to be my career. I mean, it was an interest for sure. I mean, if you learn something, it's probably to join the field. But did you knew at the time that you will make your whole career and that it will bring you to the US, or did you have an idea back then?
No, the US part was unexpected. But the career in wine, yeah, that's what I was doing. I mean, I was working in Gigondas for a great company, and I was assistant production manager. So at the time, I switched a little bit the job. I was more like working in the office and just making, bottling schedule for the company, getting all the order, compile them, and just ordering all the bottles, the cardboard, the labels, corks, everything that we need to bottle the wine and be able to ship it to customers. So I was already a change a little bit from my first experience for 2 years, which I worked for like a very small Rhone Valley family-owned winery, where we bottle everything by hand and label everything by hand. So it was a fun experience. It was really interesting.
Did you glue it by hand? Did you glue the stickers by hand? Did you do the?
Yeah, you have a small machine and you hold the bottle and you just put it through, and one by one you do it. Yeah.
Wow. Did you bottle one and drink one every time, or?
No, I try not to do that. And the owner was right next to me, so I would appreciate that. And you have to make sure the label are kind of centered and in the middle of the bottle, not upside down,
But so you work for a very small production. I mean, that was like a family-owned company.
Yeah, that was family-owned, 25 hectares, in the Rhone Valley in Côte d'Ivoire. And, it was really a great experience for me. It was really, the beginning and really touching, every process, every step of the process of viticulture and winemaking, and it was really, really cool.
So and then you move to the logistic part, as you said. How complicated is that? I mean, do people realize what are the number of components that comes to part to ship a product on time and to make things happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's it starts with salespeople selling the wine and sending you all the order and making sure they get the wine next week or next day, or Then after, everything was computerized, so you collect all the order. Everything was kind of organizing the right way, making sure you bottle all the Magnum on the same day, so you don't change all the setup in the machine all the time, and then you bottle like the 750s and the 375. I mean, it's just an organization, but it's kind of a logic approach to do it. It was not too complicated.
But you had to learn that. You didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was something that, did you learn that at school as well? Did you taught you that?
I did my master was about quality insurance, so making sure they respect all the rules and the safety and cleanness. And then after my master, the company hired me, asked me, hey, do you want to stay with us, and would you like to do that? So they trained me and I stay with the company.
Very nice. So how did the US, you said that the US was not expected that it came to you. Yeah, you know what? You're right. How did the US opportunity came around?
I met a woman who was on vacation in Avignon, and we had a long distance relationship for 2 years, and I moved to LA, and we got married.
So your wife is American?
Yeah, that was my first wife. So we got divorced 4 years later.
Okay.
But I stay in LA, and at the time I had a fun job too, and I really enjoyed it. And so I stay in the US I stayed in Los Angeles for 8 years. Then I had a job opportunity in Northern California, so I moved to
How was the transition for you working from France, you know, in the wine business, coming to the US, coming to LA? How did you had a hard time to get readjusted, or how did that work out?
Everything was new to me. You know, you learn English at school, but you know, you're able to talk and, you know, but you don't have the vocabulary and, you know, so it was that component was already a challenge at the beginning. Then I looked for a job and I didn't have a job lineup. So I found a small French importer, distributor, who, you know, told me, yeah, I'm okay to hire you, but it was, you know, commission only. So if you don't sell wine, you get nothing at the end of the month. So yeah, it was a learning curve, but you know, it was interesting. And after probably 14 months or 16 months, one of my customers, who was French also, hired me to do his wine program and be wine director for his. He had a gourmet store and a French bistro next to each other. So
Guillaume, your first experience in LA, when you were at 100% commission, you were calling on what? On restaurants, on wine bars, on hotels?
Retailers, restaurants, wine bars. Yeah.
Anyone?
You go take your bag in the morning and you go do some cold calls. I mean, some accounts were already set up, so it was fine. But if you want to grow in that position, you have to pick up the phone and try to call people and say, hey, can I come taste your wine? You knock on the door and say, this is my wine, you know, this is our portfolio. Can you taste? You know, can you? Yeah.
I have a question for you because, you know, that's something, you know, as we have a lot of friends in common. And, you know, when I walk by, when I'm in a restaurant or a wine bar, when I used to be a bit more before, but, you know, I always see those guys during the day with, you know, like you did, right, with their coolers, the bottles, and how do you make a difference? There are so many wines out there from so many different countries, different importers, different. How did you make your niche market when you first came in LA without speaking perfectly English? But how did you make it work for yourself? How did you compete? What was it on price, quality of product, or what was it?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, if you have good product, that helps. If you have wine who are not very interesting or too expensive or too cheap, it's more difficult. But if you have a portfolio, we kind of diversify with kind of different price points and you have quality product, that's the first step. After that is persistent. You don't take no for an answer. You go back, you knock on the door again, you go hang out at the restaurant, at the bar, and try to make contact and relationship. But at the end, everything is about relationship. It's about building a relationship with a buyer and just making sure you tell them you're here to deliver service and help them when they need anything from you, you know. So it's about relationship overall. I would say for 70% of the sale, it's about relationship. After, of course, you have to adapt because some buyers are very different from each other. So some people you need to push them, some people need to be very back off and make sure they make the decision. They don't feel like you're trading them or you're pushing them. It's just, but you learn. I mean, at the beginning, it was tough, but you know, you learn through the process.
Was it a job where you had to be present at night to, you know, to the night event industries they were doing, or, you know, to parties they were throwing? Is that a job that involved you to be socially present and, you know, to be part of the community and what they were trying to build? Is that a job that is demanding for?
Well, yeah, it definitely helps. If you go home at 5 p.m., you know, you may have a great day, but I mean, by going out to restaurant after selling wine, it's just, you know, it helps to consolidify the relationship and showing you support also the restaurant or the wine bar, and you know, you're there for them too, you know. So, you know, it's an exchange. It's just not, oh, I take an order, but I see you in 3 months. I'll be back in 3 months or in a month. And, you know, it's, so yeah, I mean, people want to do tasting in the store. You have to help them and do tasting for them. And, you know, events at restaurant or just, you know, going out and spending money with the customer.
Can you stay healthy doing this?
I try. you know. I
Well,
have the French genes, so you know I was raised like that, eating and drinking.
That's true.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
So,
not always. You have to watch out. Yeah.
so I mean, that must have been a pretty big stretch for you, right? Moving from France, coming to LA, being like knocking on doors, trying to. Were your first customers French? Did you go to the French restaurant, French wine bar?
Well, I tried because it was kind of easier, you know. I think it was kind of like the first move. You look up at the French restaurant, let me go there first, or let me try to, and you know, the French buyer, oh, it's good, you know. But definitely, you know, it was not an easy job, but I learned a lot. You know. It's just I have some story that, you know, I learned something very important is you have to be respectful all the time to everybody. And I had some very bad experience with buyer making me wait an hour and a half and then telling me, oh, I don't have time to taste, or treating me bad, saying, oh, I cannot taste any wine here, you know, drop the bottle, I taste them at home. Then the following week I'm walking and the guy is tasting with a lady. And so, but sometimes I was doing that, then I became a buyer and I see some of my old buyer who mistreated me work in the store and who had switched job and now are distributors. And so, you know, that made me learn a lesson, not for me because, you know, I was selling wine and I never mistreated anybody, but, you know, learn a lesson to make sure the wine world is very small. Everybody kind of know each other. So make sure you respect everybody. If you don't want to buy wine, it's fine, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. Don't have to be rude about it, you know.
What goes around comes around, Guillaume.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think it's the same in a lot of industries. I am in the hotel business, and it's the same thing. If you do something wrong, well,
you never know on which side you're gonna be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's gonna catch up with you.
One day you have the power, and one day you're gonna be begging to get another.
Yeah. Amen. Right. We have to be politically correct here.
Exactly.
So I listen, you know, like when I hear your story, it reminds me of a lot of people we know here in San Francisco that did just what you did, and I always admired them for doing this because it does takes a lot of energy, persistence. You have to be, you don't count your hours. You have to be ultra flexible. So I think it's good things that you're saying for people who want to join that industry and, you know, may wonder, hey, you know, maybe I should sell wine now. Well, you need to know what you're getting into and what it takes to be successful, because it seems very demanding, right? People may think that it's very glamorous and it's easy and you bring the wine and it's all fun, but behind that there is a lot of hard work, right?
Oh, no, there's definitely some great moments. I mean, I don't think I ever woke up one morning saying, oh, I don't want to go to work, because it's just enjoyable. And even if we have a lot of stress, especially in the position I'm right now, you know, we have big numbers to make and a lot of stress on some brands. But I mean, we're very lucky to be in the industry we are. And, you know, it's not made for everybody. You have to be working hard, but the reward is, hey, you go out to hang out with friends and you drink wine and you have very good food and you go to wine and food festival and fun stuff, definitely. But yeah, it's not as glamorous as it seems.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes people are like, oh, that's okay. I'm like, well, dude, you have no idea, man. I'm like,
I had some very rough days, you know, but you know.
So you move from this very small company to your customer who was putting together like a wine list and a beer, I mean, an alcohol list, right? Like a
yeah, I was doing wine, beer, and spirits. So you know, we had a very nice wine room and a nice selection in the store, in the gourmet store. And I was making the wine list for the French bistro, which was right in front. So yeah, that was another great experience too. It really taught me about customer service, because in France, it's especially at the time, maybe now it's different, but at the time, customer service is not something you really learn or you see every day when you go to places, I must say. But yeah, it made me learn about customer service, but also it really opened my horizon, because it opened my horizon about the wine of the world. You coming from a place like Avignon in the Rhone Valley, and most of people drink Rhone Valley wine. I was lucky enough that my parents like Burgundy and Champagne, so I was exposed to that. But when you go out in restaurant in those places, most of the wine is 100% or 90% from the region. So when I moved to LA, and when I got that job as a buyer, I was exposed to, I was on the other side now, I was tasting wine like 3 days a week. And I was exposed to wine from all around the world. So that was definitely a great learning curve, to taste wine from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Argentina, Spain, Italy, even though, they're so close to France. But it was definitely a great experience. It really kind of shaped my palate, and in a different way. Even so, I'm still more European wine oriented. I was exposed to a lot of different wine.
Is that business still around, Guillaume? Do you know if it's still?
Yeah, that's still around. Yeah. Also, I was doing events like once or twice a week. I was doing events for customers. I was doing tasting in the store for customers, and that was definitely a fun experience, having people coming to taste wine again from not just France but from all around the world. And seeing that really made me understand, oh wow, America are pretty cool. They like to experience stuff from outside of their places.
What neighborhood? Where was the bar at? Where was this wine bar?
It was kind of south of West Hollywood, south of Hollywood. So it's like on Beverly Boulevard.
Could you give us the name?
Monsieur Marcel.
Monsieur Marcel. Oh, that's a cool name. Isn't there a charcuterie?
Very French.
Well, isn't there a charcuterie called Marcel on something, or isn't there a...
Well, yeah, they used to have the charcuterie, then transform it into a bar, but yeah. I don't know if there's a reference into, but yeah.
So that was all your LA. So, and you were in LA as well when you become a regional sales manager for the 10 different states. That was in San Francisco?
That was when I moved to San Francisco. Yeah.
So the reason what did you move from LA to San Francisco? Is it for job opportunity?
I was actually laid off from my job. To be frank,
Hey, you go. Well,
I was actually laid off, and for financial reasons. And so I told myself, I learned a lot with that job. I'm going to take the time to see what I want to do. And I had a few offers working for Distributor in LA. Then one of my friends actually called me and said that Burgundy House is looking for somebody. Let me connect you with them. And just, I interviewed and I got the job. They told me, okay, the office is in San Rafael in Marin County. Will you be okay to relocate? I said, well, yeah. I don't have anybody, no family.
Yeah.
I was divorced at the time. So I said, yeah, for sure. Let's go.
Wow.
So I moved to Marin, and it's been 12 years almost.
Good. Hey, it's Emmanuel Lemoine did the same, right? He used to work.
Well, Emmanuel Lemoine used to have the current position I have. I took over his position. So Emmanuel was working for Vineyard brand when I was working for Louis Latour, so the company I work for from Burgundy. And we knew each other, we were friends.
Because
when he left, he told me about, hey, do you want to take over?
See where connections bring you? When you keep good.
It all works like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, Emmanuel used to be in LA just like you were, and then he moved to Northern California for Vineyard Brands.
Yeah. I know, he was with, what was the name? Village Import?
Village Import. Made in France or Village Import.
Made in France, yeah. Village Import became Made in France.
Yeah, Made in France. That's all, yeah, as a whole, yeah. Wow. So let me ask you this. So when you became a regional manager, did you have to travel in all those states? How many?
Yeah, so that was 10 states to cover. So I was pretty much traveling like 2 weeks out of a month. So I was not very much in San Francisco at the time, you know. When I was here, I was, you know, sometimes I was working the market with a distributor and going to SF. But I mean, most of the time I was planning my next trip to go to Arizona, Colorado, or Hawaii, or, you know, or the territory I was covering. And then, you know, 2 weeks out of the month, I was done.
So you were on the western side. Was the
Or
state
the west. Yeah.
western?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite to travel to?
It was fun. I mean, I really discovered like a lot of good things.
Did you have one state you prefer to travel to?
One state I prefer, Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, easy.
I like Colorado, especially the mountain area. Like Vail and Aspen are pretty fun, especially if you go during the winter. It's the skiing.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's pretty nice.
Did you have New Mexico as well? Did you cover New Mexico?
Yeah.
Did you go to
Santa Fe is pretty cool too.
Ah, so beautiful. I'm going to tell you, Santa Fe, Taos.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like Portland. I like Washington too. I mean, it's just, you know, I love all the states. You know, there's always something.
Well, Portland really took off recently, right? For the last 5 or 6 years. Now they're a big city for food and wine.
Yeah,
I mean, they always have been, you know that, but
yeah.
they really are now, they are on the map, right?
Yeah.
Like a fancy, you know, things that you don't know about Santa Fe is that they are the second city in the US in terms of art in general. The number of artists you have, painters, sculptors, writers, and I mean, Santa Fe is a big hub for artists, and because you know
they have like they call it the Chili Festival, I believe, and it's like art and chili. Like I've never been there, but I believe it's Santa Fe. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's there are a lot of galleries there.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you that, Guillaume. Is this your French accent when you say shitty or chili?
Chili.
The Chili Festival. So you had fun doing that. So you were overseeing a sales force, right? You were kind of the.
No, I was one of the regional manager, and I was overseeing the distribution.
I got it.
I mean, not overseeing, working with the distributor. The distributor in every state.
Yeah.
So we were four regional salespeople in the country, in East, Central, Southeast, and Northeast. And you know, we were just making sure distributor had the wine in stock, and you know, selling the wine and helping them, doing presentation and going out to market with them.
Let me ask you this: what challenge? So when you talk about distributors, how do you motivate a distributor to sell your product? Because you know they have a lot to sell and they are very busy, and they can.
Especially at the time, I was with a big distributor, one of the biggest in the country. So pretty small in their book, who sell a lot of wine, a lot of spirits. But again, it's kind of the same process. You have to make, you know, the relationship with the sales rep, the district manager, and making sure, you know, you're helping them and they can see you helping them. So, you know, they will do the job and help you out too. You know.
So
I think in this business at every level, it's just about exchanging and be able to help each other. Whatever is good for me is going to be good for them. Whatever is good for them is going to be good for me. That's the way to understand it, you know.
Do you think that technology, because you know we involve so much as far compared to 94 when you joined on now, I mean, you know, things have changed quite a bit. Do you think that all that technology we have can make you be more successful with distributors as far as working more quickly? But everybody has the same technology, so.
I mean, yeah, because you're able to share. You're able to share any information you want now. You don't have to go see somebody to say, hey, is my tech sheet or is my preset or is my information. Just send an email with all the information. Some people read them, some people don't, but at least you can act more quickly.
Do you think technology made wine producers more effective as far as being successful with distributors? Like, did it help them in general, or is that, do you see where I'm going with my question?
I think, you know, you're able to provide more information and more answer quickly. So definitely more helpful. You know? Okay. If you launch a new product, if you launch something, you can just spread the information to all the sales force in 2 minutes, and instead of having to go to a meeting in front of everybody, which we still do anyway. It's very important. Not right now because of the COVID, but in general we still do. But they be able to share information and get question back and answer them, and it's definitely helpful. Yeah.
So you just mentioned the word COVID. I think I heard of it not too long ago.
Yeah.
But did that had an impact on your current business with Vineyard Brands, and how did you guys react to that, or what do you do differently that you were not doing before? What did it change for Vineyard Brands and on your job on your end?
Yeah, I mean, definitely changed the dynamic, because we were working a lot with restaurants. We're very, like we say, on-premise restaurant oriented, because of a lot of our brands are really feeding the restaurants. So definitely, I mean, all our customers, or most of our customers, are to shut down. And when they're able to reopen, you're in a place like San Francisco, a lot of people don't have space outside.
Yeah.
So, for us, we have the chance to be very diversified in our portfolio. We have wine from all around the world. We have one at every price point. We have one we're kind of mostly in chains, and someone are mostly in restaurants. So we lost some, sales, of course, for the restaurant, but because of the good presence we have in retails and the chains, we were able to still do okay business. It's not what it used to be, definitely, but it's difficult, and it's definitely not be able to go see your customer as much as you want and go just support them and hang out at the restaurant. It's just difficult. It's been totally just a very different, sad, and kind of frustrating experience.
Do you think that people drink more at home than they used to?
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. I mean, I was with Stefan 2 days ago, and he told me, he's been selling a lot of truffles. And I said, yeah, well, people don't go out to have nice dinners. They just treat themselves at home. So they do the same with wine,
Are his truffles from Antoine? Maybe?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so.
It's a small world.
It is a small world, especially the food and wine these days.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember. So because you guys are in those big box or in big distribution, you are able to keep the balance fairly.
Well, I mean, yeah, it definitely helps. If we didn't have those like volume item, they're lower price point, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, that definitely helps to pay the bill and to be able to like maintain a certain level. I mean, and some restaurants are reopen, and the ways they reopen, some people have the chance to have some space outside, and they're successful. I mean, so successful. Yeah. Considering the situation, they're still ordering wine, and so I mean, yeah, it hasn't been easy, and it's just difficult for us to think of all our customers the way they are right now, and how difficult, even more difficult it is for them, because they're not able to really open and have people coming in.
I'm hopeful that those parklets that we have in San Francisco, you know what, I'm going to do the same, sorry, but yes. Oh yeah, hey, we have to talk about those, right, Guillaume? We'll talk about those after. You tell us more about those two wines we have here. Yeah. But I'm hopeful that those parklets we have in the city will be made permanent, and not just, those little outdoor terrace. That would be fantastic if the city could keep those for about.
For sure.
Because that does change the way the city looks and feels. I mean, it just brings everybody out. We know that we are not in Southern California, right? It's not always sunny, but we put a heater outside and we're all good, right?
Yeah, as long as you cover for the rain and you have a little top above the tables. I think it's great. Yeah. I know right now it's been okay for most of people because the weather has been good. When it starts raining, we'll see. Some people are okay to invest because they think it's going to be helpful and useful and worth it. But I mean, is everybody's going to be able to do that? It's always the same. You know, some people may not have the money to be able to invest in something like that. So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get, did your, you know, with the fire we had in California, did that had an impact? Did you had wineries in that region that got impacted on your end as far as, you know?
we do imports only. We only have one winery from California, which is Tablas Creek, located in Paso Robles.
Okay.
Paso Robles.
Paso Robles. And
So
they were
there's
fine.
fire around, but not as bad as it is right now. So for us, it didn't have really any impact directly to us, except
Okay.
business closing down, evacuation, but which is
Okay.
nothing related directly to the wine production.
Hey, I forgot to ask you a question before, but that goes back to your beginning of what you've done. Did you do the vendange when you were young? Like during the summer?
At the winery, when I did that 2 years program, I did three vintages of vendange. Yeah.
So did you do did you do Beaujolais too, or what kind of what?
Now we're doing actually some Côte du Rhône Primeur, which is equivalent of the Beaujolais. So the third Thursday of November, they made a wine with carbonic maturation and released that, and it was an event in the Rhône Valley. They used to do that at the time. I'm not sure they're still doing it, but at the time, yes, they were kind of like redoing the event, same as the Beaujolais Nouveau. So it's called Côte du Rhône Primeur.
Is that a big thing in France? Do they make a big party out of
it? It used to be, yeah, it used to be. I mean, I used to go out in restaurants, they're all selling Côte du Rhône Primeur and doing, it was apéro. You go to a place, they all have a big barrel with a nice like charcuterie and cheese platter.
Really?
Order some glasses, yeah. Some glasses of Primeur, a bottle of Côte du Rhône Primeur, and it was the same. They all even have some like tasting. There's a big plaza in Avignon where they had some people at there just pouring wine from their winery. Just, you know.
Do you think it was mainly in the south of France? Because, you know, I'm from Normandy, from the north, but I don't remember seeing any. Even in Lille, I don't remember seeing parties for that particular. Beaujolais for sure.
Well, I mean, because it was a wine, a region of production. So if you're outside a region of production, maybe you don't see them, except for Beaujolais Nouveau, which is kind of celebrated every year in the country. But as a region of production, the Rhône Valley, where we're making, you know, the Primeur, which is kind of like the young wine from the vintage. Yeah. You know, that Primeur Beaujolais Nouveau is really to make something fun and just everybody work in the vineyard all year long, and people who make the wine and just have just an excuse for a party, you know.
Yeah. Is there a difference? What is the difference between the Primeur and Beaujolais? Is there a difference in taste, or is there a difference in it's more?
Yeah, it's different grape. I mean, you in Gamay in Beaujolais than you would be in Grenache in the southern Rhône. Yes, taste is different.
Which one is better, you think?
Depend of the mood, depend on the producer, depend on the day. You know, I love Beaujolais. I love cru Beaujolais mostly compared to Beaujolais Nouveau. But you know. Well, at the end, everybody's saying, "Oh, it smells like banana, or it smells like strawberries this year," blah blah blah. But at the end, it's about the celebration. You know, some year is better than another, but at the end, it's just about going out and partying.
Do you import Beaujolais on time for Beaujolais every year? Because we should do
Beaujolais. We don't do Beaujolais Nouveau. We only have one producer. We do Cru Beaujolais from Moulin à Vent, so more like higher end Beaujolais, not the Beaujolais.
Why don't you, not you, your company, there is not a market for Beaujolais Nouveau?
There used to be. I mean, when I was a buyer in LA, I used to buy like almost like 50 cases of Beaujolais Nouveau from like 3 different producers and sell in the store, sell at the restaurant, at the wine bar. It was fun, but I'm not sure. Maybe Germain can tell you if he sell a lot of it, but I don't think. I think it kind of like slowed down in the past, you know.
Do you know why? Just
sure.
Because we make a party out of Beaujolais Nouveau every year with l'apéro. We make l'apéro Beaujolais Nouveau, and every year it's hard to find a Beaujolais on time and to find a Beaujolais.
But that was one of the problems. It's easy when you're in France, but when you have to ship the wine to arrive on time,
Mm.
even earlier, because you have to go through the importers and the distributor and the clearance and everything. The wine, sometimes it's not really ready because it takes a while. So people who are going to ship it by air freight, it's going to be very expensive. And, so it's mostly going by air freight because you won't have time to really make the wine if you do it by boat.
Yeah.
But that might be one of the reasons. It's just the logistic part it's a bit challenging.
I know, because, for our party, every time we get the cases the morning of the party.
Well, but that's normal because you're not supposed to sell the wine the day off.
So that's true. Well, yeah.
Okay. So midnight, the night before, that's when you can receive it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but every year I'm very worried. I tell you that I need that wine because we have 200 people coming in. I need the wine.
Yeah.
Hey, Guillaume, could you tell us about, we were talking about, you have, I don't know how many products you have. How many products you have, Vineyard brands, roughly? Do you know how many they have?
It's we have around 80 producers. Some producers, they produce only 5 wines. Some producer in the Rhone or some producer in Burgundy, they may produce maybe 50
Yeah,
wines.
but it's hard to tell.
So it's hard to tell, but we have a lot of different wines. Yeah.
Well, I've been drinking this.
You have good taste.
Oh, it disappeared with the background.
But behind me is a cellar of Miraval.
Miraval. And it's very, very easy to drink. It's very good. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to be at half of the bottle by myself.
That's the way to go. It drinks like water.
Yeah. So, and you and I talked yesterday when we met briefly. We talked about Miraval and how successful that brand has been, right? It's
it's interesting because some people may know the story, some people may not know the story, but Chateau Miraval is a real estate based in Corrence, which is right next to Brignoles in the south. Is 60 miles from the coast in the Mediterranean. So it's in the Var area in the Provence. And that place was leased by Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie for 4 years. It was owned by another American person, which one day decided to sell the estate. So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie decided to purchase the estate because it's a beautiful place located in the middle of vineyard and olive trees and very private. So they purchased the estate, but mostly for the house, but they inherited the vineyards.
Oh.
So Brad Pitt was a big fan of Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Château de Beaucastel, which is made by the Perrin family that we import. And he got introduced to Marc Perrin and asked the Perrin family to make the wine. So the Perrin family decided, we want to make the wine, but we want to be partner. We just don't want to be just your winemaker. So the Perrin family is really taking care of all the logistic and all the vineyard management and everything concerning the wine. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie own the vineyards and the estate. So it's like a shared 50-50 partnership. So we launched it, the first vintage was 2012, but 2012 was when they purchased the estate, the wine was already made. So it was not really something was produced by them. So 13 was really the first vintage. But it was very successful from the beginning. You have two great Hollywood names.
Yeah.
You have one great family who's been producing amazing wine in the Southern Rhone in Châteauneuf-du-Pape for a very long time. And you have also the rise of the Rosé domain in America.
Yeah.
So surfing on the wave of the rosé trend, it was a perfect combo at the right time. Also, the packaging was pretty new for the style of wine because they wanted to put the wine as kind of like the luxury style of rosé, not the entry level.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hard work on our part too, but the distributor part. But it definitely was was a very well response from the consumers.
Very nice. So it's a very nice bottle. If people can see it, I'm sorry, I have my green screen in the back. It's hard to show you, but it's a very nice bottle and it drinks very easy. Is that what you're drinking, Guillaume? Are you drinking the rosé right now?
I am. I just switched from champagne to
Look, your glass is disappearing when you choose it. Yeah. That's very hard.
Background. There we go.
Yeah, the background. Here you go. Here you go. I'm sorry, I took my Lapero glass. It's not as yours.
I used that one for pastis last night.
Thank you for your picture.
It was perfect.
It
was perfect.
Génial. And we talked about a different product too, you and I, yesterday. It's your champagne. Alors, je ne l'ai pas ouvert. I didn't open it.
I opened it.
You open it. Here you go. Champagne.
Yeah, de la Motte is, I mean, it's definitely very close to my heart. I really love what they do and the quality of the champagne. It's the fifth oldest house in Champagne from the 1768. So very, very old house. Is located in Le Mesnil-sur-Oger in Côte de Blanc. So very nice, ice quality Chardonnay coming from that area. And, you know, been pretty successful in San Francisco, especially in restaurants. Unfortunately, we don't see very much of it right now, but very, very nice quality champagne. It's a small, I mean, medium-sized house. Nothing to do with the big houses and the big names, but the quality is amazing. So I definitely love that house of champagne.
Well, you know, you're working for an importer, a big guy that does very good quality import product. I mean, you guys are famous on the market for importing only good quality product. What do you see the US market responding the most out of to? And let's say California. What do Californians like the most out of all those importers you have, all those brands? Is Rosé the most? Is Miramar the most famous?
Rosé has become like the number one. It's just at every price level. Yeah.
Number one. More than white, more than red. Would you import more Rosé from France than anything?
My number one SKU is Untitled La Vie Femme Rosé, which sells for around $7.99 or $8.99. It's what we sell the most in California. Then you will have Miraval number two. So definitely, you know, yeah, the rosé has finally, you know, became trendy in California and all around the country. I mean, it's funny because when I was at the store in Los Angeles and I was a buyer, I'm from Provence and I was raised with rosé, so I had like an amazing selection in the summer of rosé stacked everywhere, like probably like 20 producers, which was pretty unusual in places. So I have all the French people coming shop at the store because, you know, we cannot find our rosé. Oh, how come you have so much rosé? Well, you know, it's where I'm from, Provence, and you know, I was raised with that. But now it reached a point where it's the number one raising category for the past 3-4 years.
Is champagne still strong? That's so. I mean,
Champagne is strong. It to be slowed down since March, unfortunately. But champagne is been good. I don't think it will. I don't know. It's funny. I had a conversation. I remember with Lou about champagne and the way. Oh yeah, I was doing a virtual tasting for one restaurant and was pouring de la Motte Blanc de Blanc Vintage 2012. And the owner asked me, "Oh, what's the difference with America and France?" And I feel like in France, we drink champagne with no specific reason. We drink champagne just for apéro.
Yeah.
We drink champagne. Let's have a glass of champagne before we have a glass of wine or before we start the meal.
Yeah.
And here, I don't think you in that category yet where it's kind of natural. It's just, oh, it's a celebration. So yes, it is in France too, but here it's pretty much specific to celebration. So I mean, some restaurants are doing pretty good with champagne, I must say, but I feel like overall, it's not the same as France.
Your champagne will not be used in cocktails because that's too nice of a champagne for a cocktail, right? Or there is no.
No, yeah. I mean, I would not use that for. It's not about nice. It's about, you know, pricing wise too. Because people use cheap sparkling wine for cocktails, but I mean, you can use it for cocktail if you want.
Why not? You can make a champagne sangria.
I'm not sure about that.
Hey, maybe a new category, Guillaume.
Yeah, I never know.
Royalties.
You do not have royalties.
We're gonna have witnesses, Guillaume. Be careful.
You're what? You're recording?
Yeah, it's being recorded. It is.
You sure you press the right button, right? Because
I told you my son is not around, so he's always
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Everybody needs a good son.
Of course.
If you have one, keep him close to you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Guillaume, I'm going to ask you some, and maybe you cannot, because of your job, answer those questions, and that might put you in a hot spot. But it's okay. All right, I'll put you in a hot spot. Number one, what's your favorite wine? Do you have a favorite? Let's not say wine. What's your favorite drink in general?
It is wine.
Beer?
No, it is wine.
Wine.
It is wine. Funny enough, I was a beer lover when I was like 19, 20 years old. I used to go with my best friend. We used to go to the same beer bar every Friday, every Saturday. And because I had like an amazing selection, But yeah, since then, it's always been wine. I drink spirit very rarely, except pastilles for apéro.
Oh, yeah, you go.
That's, I'm from the South, so, I drink.
No choice.
That I would never go away. But spirit, it's wine is my everyday drink.
What's the best wine you had? That is, that is not like out there. I'm not asking you for the crazy bottle you had from, but what is a wine that you will go to that's not, like crazy pricey, but that you think for the values, something that you...
For the value?
Yeah,
we have a lot of great, like, Southern Rhone wines. Well, definitely, like a small village from the Perrin family, which is great drinking, very amazing. Yeah. So and it's rosé. We have there's so many options, but my art go to Burgundy. That's what I like the most. Champagne too, but Burgundy is definitely my favorite. White and red Burgundies. It's yeah.
Hey Guillaume, what's your favorite dish when you drink a very good wine? Depending on what you eat, but what's your favorite dish? Do you have a favorite Marseille recipe?
Oh, well, I love ratatouille, of course. Yeah, but I like everything. I love lamb and ratatouille. Lamb rack and ratatouille. That'd be my favorite dish. Yeah, with a nice bottle of Cornas of Côte Rôtie from Northern Rhone.
Babe.
Yeah.
Is there what's the best experience you ever had in a restaurant? And it can be anywhere. Doesn't have to be here in California.
That's so many. It's hard to pick one. If you want to say local,
yeah.
La Folie was, one of the great experience for sure. Yeah. So, but being able to go to all around different states when I was with a tour and traveling and doing some wine and food festival, when you have chefs flying from around the country or from all around the world and being exposed to like amazing dishes, it's so hard to pick like one wine, one dish, it's just,
For me, I know, but it's okay.
What is it?
No, actually, I don't. But Boudin Noir with apple.
Oh, your favorite
mashed potatoes. Moi, j'adore.
So that's from where you're from, right?
Ouais, avec un petit peu de crème.
Crème
fraîche on top. C'est mortel.
Yeah.
That's bon. Sorry, but that's one of my favorite. My steak frites.
We always go back to to where we're from and what we were raised to.
That's true. Yeah, I think food is a lot to see with emotions and where you grow up usually.
Yeah.
Right. But steak frites is perfect.
Oh, steak frites, I love steak frites.
It's not complicated and it's good.
Yeah.
With a good butter of Barat on top. Woo!
I love, you know what I love is bone marrow.
Ah, really?
Bone marrow from Amélie or from Le Comptoir.
Ah, d'accord.
That
Okay.
works. Very fatty, but it's good. It's good.
We talked about sports already. So you're a big soccer. You're a soccer. You love soccer. You love and your team in France is PSG. Unfortunately.
Paris.
Well, and honestly, I'm not from Paris. I'm from Normandy, but for the Champions League final, I was definitely behind PSG, and I
Thank
wanted
you.
to see the French team win. And there was this whole discussion about Marseille. Some people saying we should. I said, it's okay. Hey,
I don't know if you heard, there are the best sale of Bayern München jersey in Marseille that week.
Well, at least two people are happy. Marseille, a lot of people in Marseille seem to be happy, and people in München for the Bayern, they make money too. Good for them. If you had, I'm in the hotel business. I'm just curious. What was the best hotel experience you ever had? Because that is still the hospitality, food, wine, and hotels are all in the same kind of. We call it hospitality in the US. What's the best hotel experience you ever had? As far as service, as far as just.
I think I must mention first that the first time I went to Vegas, I was pretty amazed with all this hotel and everything was there, and staying maybe at the Bellagio or one of the hotel was pretty good. But my best experience didn't happen in the US. It happened in Barcelona, actually. I stayed in a great hotel in Barcelona with my wife 4 or 5 years ago. And pretty amazing. You can choose the size of your pillow, like what type of pillow you want. You want like some feather, no feather. If you want some essential oils, if you want some, it was like pretty outstanding place with a beautiful rooftop pool view of Barcelona. I think that was pretty much my best experience.
Wow. A customized experience.
And the service was like outstanding.
Outstanding. Do you know, was it for a large flag or it was an independent boutique hotel?
It was an independent. I will let you know the name. I don't remember right now.
Yeah. Wow.
But it was an independent hotel. That's really cool.
I have a story in Barcelona. I got when we got married with my wife, and after our friend Hélène, who lives here in San Francisco, Hélène got married the same day than Sébastien, by the way, in France. It was crazy. Well, a week after we went to Barcelona, and we got robbed as we arrived in, with all the cash from the wedding and everything in the car was gone. That was a crazy story. Yeah.
Wow. Then you have to go to the camping, right?
Sleeping on the beach was nice until the cops wake you up.
That's not funny.
Then you have to explain. What's your favorite bar, wine bar here in you cannot do that.
Amélie, of course.
Amélie? Ah, nice. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, those guys are amazing. I've been working with them and being customer since I moved here. I really, Germain is an amazing guy and is a very dear friend of mine. And the staff, seeing they're open, which they're not there anymore, but keep in touch with some of them, and it's just, the place is just amazing. I think the job they do there, they don't have a kitchen ready, but they're able to deliver some amazing food, and the wine list, it's outstanding. We have so many wine by the glass, so many options for everybody that, it's definitely,
Could you say a few words? I know it's 6:05, but just I have a question to ask you. The food industry and the wine industry seems to be very close to each other, especially the French connection. It seems like there is, even though people may compete, they're not really competitors, kind of, right? They're all friends. They still hang out together. You will have Alex who goes to see Amélie. You will go to see Ludo at Fluxus. Yeah. It seems that you guys, it seems that community.
Well, I mean, I feel like, those people like Bruno and
Bruno,
at the time who was here, and, a lot of people, and Julie at Bush and JRM, and all these people at some point, they almost like work together at a place when they just arrived. And, the connection started like that, I think, then they created their own business, and Stefan, and then they be very successful. So, you know, everybody, I think, respect each other, and everybody appreciate each other. So,
which is
I think
nice.
it's a big family. I
Yeah,
think.
it's a big family.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we were in New York, I don't know if that's the same environment, between the French restaurants and the wine bars, maybe.
I'm not
And
sure.
Germain maybe knows about that. I don't know if there is such a sense of community like we have here in San Francisco.
Yeah, no, that's true. And, people, me being in the wine, I pretty much, know them all, or most of them. And it's just, they all know each other anyway. They all respect each other, and they're all being friend of, even your friend. Sometimes you just go support your other people who just doing a good job. So, yeah. No, I think, big family, definitely.
Happy family. Not so happy recently.
I mean, right now, no, but yeah.
But hopefully we get out of it. Guillaume, if people wants to buy Vineyard brands, where should they go? So you work mainly with bars and restaurants.
We have one in retailers. So I mean,
retailers.
Wine. I mean, Miraval is pretty much sold in pretty much every place, is because of the success. So you can find them at Whole Foods, you can find them at small retailers, you can find them everywhere. You can, if you're looking for a specific wine, if you go on a website, you can see all the wine we import. If you're looking for specific wine, you can always reach out to me. I can tell you where it's sold. But I mean, we work a lot with small retailers like Flatiron in San Francisco, like Draeger's and Whole Foods and Nuggets. And so, like, not all our wine will be in one location, but the distribution is pretty widely spread between all around the Bay Area.
And you do not import? Do you import liquors as well from France? No, I'm just. I was hoping you can. Yeah, you see where I'm going.
That's not l'apéro, that's the digestif.
Yeah.
Le Dijon.
Some Calvados, quelque chose comme ça, un truc.
L'apéro et le Dijon.
L'apéro et le Dijon. Ouais, c'est pas mal ça.
Pas mal, hein? Copyright.
Ah ouais, copyright. Putain, on va encore avoir des witness. Merde, c'est pris. Guillaume.
J'ai oublié de mettre mon masque marinière aussi.
Ah ouais. Et tu sais, you know that we actually at l'apéro we have a great partnership with Saint-Jean. Saint-Jean is in Normandy, so that's what you wear. So thank you for wearing your marinière.
Oh, thank you. It's so comfortable.
I appreciate it. It fits you well. Here you go. Here you go. And they have those masks with marinière, but it's very thick.
Make sure you write l'apéro just right in the front, and put a little opening to put the straw to drink your wine.
I have those. We sold those. We sold out of those with a straw. You can have a straw going through your mouth.
What you need.
Well, hey, Guillaume, I want to thank you very much for your time that you gave us today, for your patience with me, because I did not start on the right foot with my snot not being around, and you stick with me. Sorry for everybody for being late I think we were late by 1 or 2 minutes. We're going to put that whole discussion on our YouTube channel. We have a l'apéro YouTube channel, and I will put the link and email everybody as well. So if you want to have a look, whenever, or put that in your car as you're driving, you don't have to watch us, just listen to us. If you want to have a French lessons and try to understand French accents, well, you're in the right place.
Maybe you can put some subtitles.
Yeah, subtitles. We need some subtitles, that's right. But Guillaume, thank you.
No, thank you, Pierre. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be part of your event. I know we did some live event in the past, and was very happy to have a good talk with you. And thank you everybody for joining us. And for Germain, allez Paris.
Ouais, allez Paris. Hey, Germain, allez Paris. On that note, Guillaume, à bientôt. Merci beaucoup. Don't forget, Miraval, Champagne de la Motte. Those are the Champagne de la Motte and the Miraval Rosé. Okay, where is it? It's around here. Hold on. I want to finish.
Et les Marinières Saint-James.
Ouais.
Tout va bien ensemble.
Et avec ça, les gars, with that, your apéro will be skyrocket. No limit.
No limit.
No limit.
Ah, c'est plus qu'un verre par jour.
So more than one glass. But don't drive, okay? More than one glass, you don't drive. You know, we're in the US. Thank you, Guillaume.
Merci bien.
À bientôt.
Bye, à bientôt.
Ciao, ciao. À bientôt.
Bye.
Bye bye. Salut.